Hey, what's going on? In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to take a call recording and transcript from Vapi AI and using some make.com automations, be able to pull the transcription, the video call recording, and all the nitpicky details, and then be able to use that for third-party automations. Because now that we've got it over on make.com, there's so many different things that we can do in order to manipulate that data. For instance, if you got a sales guy and you want to pitch the initial AI appointment setter call over to him so he knows a little bit more context behind the lead conversation, then you can easily set up an automation to text him over all the details, the transcription, and he can even listen to the video call recording. Or if you have an AI appointment setter, this is a great way to set up a dialer and link that directly to an actual text message agent. So let's say if your lead sends the dialer to voicemail, well, then we now know that they went to voicemail because we have the transcription and there was no call that was made. And so the AI appointment setter through the DMs or through text message can now reach out to that lead and attempt to appointment set them that way. It's awesome because when you're able to pull out the transcription, as you can imagine, the opportunities are endless. And at the end of this, I'll even show you something a little more complex that I've actually set up using this strategy. Now, I don't want to confuse anyone or leave anyone out, so if you already know how to do the GoHighLevel side of things to actually initiate the call, then go ahead and skip forward to this timestamp. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll show you guys how to actually make the call initialized from GoHighLevel over to Vapi so you know the full encompassing way to do this. So starting off on GoHighLevel, what you're going to need to do is set up whatever trigger you want this lead to go off of. In this instance, I'm simply doing a tag trigger for the contact. So when the AI dialer tag gets added to the contact, it knows to initialize the call. And then what you're going to do is set up a custom webhook. And just to show you guys what the node looks like, it's literally just custom webhook right here. And if and when you do open up one of those nodes, there's a few things you're going to need to do. First off, make sure the event is set to custom, method is post, and then you're going to put this URL exactly as it reads, api.vapi.ai/call. For authorization, you're going to put none, and then we're going to add one header. And then afterwards, you're going to put bearer, and then you're going to put a space, and then you're going to put your Vapi AI API token. Now, I blurred mine out here because everyone has a unique API, and you don't want to give that away, but I'm going to show you where you would go to find that. So you would go back over to Vapi, and then under org settings, you can see API keys. Just click on that, and then private key. I'm not going to show mine, but all you have to do is click copy ID and then go back over again, make sure that there's a space between bearer and then paste your token. Okay, so for this next part, what we're doing in the raw body section is setting up a bit of code in order to send over to Vapi AI so that they understand the whole context, and we're even going to add a couple custom features such as the contact's first name. Now, in order to get assistant ID, what you have to do first is actually go into Vapi and build an assistant. So going back over to assistants, if you don't have one, simply click create assistant and you can choose from here. I recommend at least having something basic to start out with. In this case, we'll do appointment setter, just because if you don't know how to write knowledge bases, they can be a bit of a hassle. But anyway, so we got this brand new one we just made, and I'll label this YouTube example. Cool, got our YouTube example, and you do have to click publish every time you want something to save. Anyway, so here is our ID right here, so go ahead and copy that, and then you can paste the assistant ID right here. All right, and then for phone number ID, now this is assuming you already have a phone number connected. There's so many different ways you can go about using it, like I use Twilio, but you can also use a GoHighLevel embedded one, or you can import from a different platform as well. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. In fact, if you click create phone number here, these are all the different sources in which you can draw a phone number from. Anyways, assuming you have one already imported, up top right here, all you have to do is click copy, and it'll copy your phone number ID and then just paste it there and you're good to go. And I want you to note all the little commas that take place and all these little brackets. Everything is important. This is code, so if one thing is not correct, it will not fire properly. And also, almost forgot to mention, under content type, put application/JSON, and this basically just explains how exactly this information is formatted. And this last part down here, save response from this webhook. You don't have to do this. This is really just to see the different payloads that are going out in case you do want to do any backend diagnostics. All right, so now that we have all the information packaged, what we need to do next is log the external call. So what you have to do in the nodes, it's literally just log external call as it's written out here. And it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is write outbound here for the actual direction. For two, do contact phone, and then GoHighLevel will know based on the contact that is associated with this tag or however your trigger is set up. As long as they have a phone number, GoHighLevel will understand that this is contact phone. And how you can go about selecting that, you click this little tag button, contact, and then phone. Now you can see it's written twice. And then under from is where you're going to put your Vapi AI phone number. So yeah, make sure your Vapi AI phone number is there. And then lastly, call status completed. And that's the basics of everything you have to do. This last part down here is a bit of a bonus thing that I'll explain at the end of this. It gets a little complicated, but I'm also sending a webhook over to make.com. And this is going to be separate from the internal Vapi AI webhook that we're going to set. And the reason is because once the user is calling on Vapi's end and we send a webhook, it's only going to have surface level information from Vapi itself. So the reason I'm doing a webhook here is to draw additional information from the GoHighLevel CRM, such as different tags or custom fields that aren't getting pulled from Vapi. This way I have everything I need to know about the contact over on make.com. So basically this webhook is going to a data store and is just going to chill there until we pull the Vapi information and assimilate the two phone numbers, and then we know all the information there is to know about this lead. And just to show you guys what I mean, so over from GoHighLevel, this is where that webhook is coming to, and then literally we are just collecting information from there. We're collecting the contact ID, the phone number, tag, and then thread ID for my AI appointment setter. That's just some backend work. Yeah, the contact ID and the phone number are going to be huge because Vapi AI is only going to pull in the phone number. So this is our way to assimilate that back to everything else with that contact ID, as I'll explain here in a bit. Okay, cool. So that's everything we need to do on GoHighLevel. So now over on Vapi, if you go back to the assistant we just created. So as you guys know, Vapi AI has a tools section, and this is where you can add different custom tools so that the AI basically has third-party automations they can tap into live on call. So typically you'll run different functions to call make.com. But what's cool is that Vapi actually has a couple ones that are preset in there that you can choose to use if you would like. So you can find those by going over to advanced. And then if you scroll down over to messaging there at the bottom, there's actually going to be a few different ones you can choose from. Now, for the sake of what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be using server messages. And basically, after the call is finished, we want to get all the information that was taken from the call and send it over to Vapi for us to actually collect. So theoretically, you could pull all of this stuff in if you'd want, but we just want the call report for the sake of this example. So end of call report, that's what we're looking for. You can go ahead and close everything else out, or you can just uncheck it like this. Cool. End of call report is all we'll need, and then click publish to save it. Okay, so now that that's set, the last thing we have to do is set up our server URL. So I'm actually going to go ahead and build out a new scenario for you guys to follow along with, just so there's no confusion. Okay, so within the scenario, click webhooks, then click custom webhook here. We'll just use example webhook for the sake of this, and then click copy address here. Now back over on Vapi under server URL, drop that webhook, and then click publish. And now anytime a call recording ends, it's going to shoot information over to the webhook over here. All right, and then I just remembered there's a couple things on client messages we have to change. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that the webhook that we're going to actually try to do is going to get triggered a little too soon, and it's going to be unfavorable for what we're trying to do here. So click over to this +9 more. And then what we're going to do is check metadata. We're going to uncheck model output. We're also going to uncheck status output. We're going to uncheck tool calls. We're going to uncheck user interrupted, voice input. All right, and then we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and test that now. So click run once, and then it should pitch off the transcription of that very brief call over to make.com. All right, so the AI is calling me. Yes, I can hear you. What's up? Thank you for calling Wellness Partners. This is Riley, your billing assistant. How may I help you? Hey, I'm looking to book an appointment. I'd be happy to help you with billing. Let me have some information from you so we can find. Actually, never mind. Bye. It doesn't matter. We really just need a transcript. And now, bang, as you can see, the whole conversation we just had now just got thrown over to this webhook. So we now have data that we can manipulate and do what we need to in order to actually go about sending it over to some of your sales guys or simply just storing the data. So first off, a really easy thing you can do is sync this with Google Sheets. Now I recommend just doing add row, and it'll open a new row. So make sure to connect to your Google Sheets, and then you got to choose a specific spreadsheet. I've already got one made for this, and then choose the specific page. And then within the Google Sheets, you need to go in and put your different fields. I'll show you what I mean by that. It can be whatever you want as far as the columns go. So this is how they're mapped. You literally just put them in on the top row, then back over on make. As you can see, it'll automatically pull these in, and it knows that it's A, B, C column. And then what you can do from there, once you click on it, you'll notice all this different webhooked information is in there. As you can see, we now have a summary. You can see kind of part of the transcript where it says like AI user. So for lead phone number, you just type in number. So that'll be this number right here that you can see there. So click number. phone number ID. It's going to be right here under message, then call, then phone number ID. Call ended reason. So this will either be the AI hung up the call or the user hung up the call, or maybe the scenario was completed and they booked in an appointment. It's going to vary. And then this next one is actually very useful. So the recording URL. So you would use this if you're trying to pitch off the recording to a sales guy, or perhaps right before your sales call, you want to listen to the message that took place so you're a little more prepared on the lead conversation that they had. So you kind of have some grounds to speak on. From timestamp, we can do when the call was created. So the call was created April 17th at 11:55 p.m. This must be Eastern time. And then for summary, you just do summary. And this is just going to be an overarching summary of the actual call transcription itself. And then last but not least, transcription, transcript actually. All right, perfect. And then you can add other fields if you'd like, then click save. So now that this is live, what I'm gonna do is simulate another call just to show you guys how the information should automatically load into Google Sheets. All right, so the AI is now calling me. Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for calling Wellness Partners. This is Riley, your scheduling assistant. How may I help you today?
Hey Riley, this is Scott. I'm filming a YouTube video right now, so I just wanted to have a quick conversation with you. That's all.
Thanks, Scott. Glad to be part of your YouTube video. If you have any questions or just want to
No,
talk
I
about
don't. Thanks. Bye. All right, cool. So, it's gonna should go through Vapi now. I want to stay on this screen. Bam, because it auto generates, and all you have to do to fix something ugly like this. I mean, this is just Excel basics at this point, but you just do wrap text and then click wrap. Bang. Expand that, and you are good to go. As you can see, it has the relevant part of the conversation. I'm filming a YouTube video, has all the different information. I'm going to censor some of this. And if you look over here at this call recording link, you can actually open this up. You know, if there's an instance where one of your sales guys wants to hear the recording or you want to pitch it to someone, this is how you do it. But anyways, y'all get the point of that. So that's how you do the transcription pulling into Google Sheets. But what you do if you want to set it up on make.com's end, instead of going offshore with Google Sheets, you go over to Datastore and then click add or replace record. Make sure that you have a Datastore pre-built. If you don't, I can quickly run through how to go about building one. So just click add, and then if you don't have a data structure, click add again. And you can essentially add any significant piece of information that you would like to pull in. So let's say you did like the call recording section, you could just put recording URL. It doesn't matter what you type here because you can append the custom fields later. Or let's say you wanted to add the transcript, you could just write transcript here and then click save. I'm not going to save it just because I don't want to add another useless data store to my set. But what I do is I already have one set up. So dialer convo summary. And as you can see, I set it up just like the Google Sheet itself. So again, it's the same exact plug and play knowledge. As far as you can add all the different features we just added before: summary, transcript, phone number. It's all there. Okay, awesome. So now you guys have the basics down, pulling information from Vapi AI over into a Google Sheet and or over into a custom data store in which we can store the information and manipulate it to do what we need in order to make this whole sales process more efficient. Now, I want to take it a step further and zoom out and kind of show something that I've gone about building. And the whole point of this is to collect information over from the conversation, decipher whether it's a voicemail or whether it was a legitimate conversation, and then send them a pre-call text message, either following up saying, "Hey, I tried to call you, went to voicemail, couldn't book in," or "Hey, it was a great call we just had. Sorry we couldn't figure out a good appointment time. I'll make sure to call you next week," or something like that. Because, the idea is that this is a backend safeguard, assuming that you're setting up a dialer to book sales calls. Not everyone's going to book in. So this is really just a good way to hit them over text as well. And then if you're like me and have an AI appointment setter that also runs your SMS channels, then this is really just a full encompassing system because we have dialers calling them up. If they don't answer, then boom, we're going to be texting them. So if you guys recall at the very beginning of this video, I was explaining the fact that this webhook will pull in GoHighLevel information because the Vapi AI information that pulls into make.com is very limited. We don't have the GoHighLevel contact ID, so we can't pull stuff back into GoHighLevel just yet. So what we do is add or replace, and this is the store that puts all of our Vapi AI call information. And then this data store is searching for my GoHighLevel initial webhook, referring to this one, which is sending over all the user information from our CRM. And then we're making it equal to the customer number that we just pulled in. So if you remember, of course, GoHighLevel already has our phone number. So this way we're saying, is the GoHighLevel number equal to the Vapi phone number that we just pulled in? And if it's equal to, then we're going to get that record and we're pulling in all that record information. And so now it's like, awesome. We have the entire call recording itself. and we have the GoHighLevel contact message associated with it. And then you can get granular and build out something awesome like this. In this instance, I have an AI that's set up to decipher the entire transcription and then decide from there if it's a voicemail, if they answered, and if so, it packages a follow up accordingly. And then I have answer to voicemail to, just so I can set up a unique thread ID, because the first time a lead comes in, as you know, there's not going to be any sort of thread ID associated with this new contact because it's the first time in. But every time they come in after the fact, we now want to have a thread ID associated with our contact, and this will keep a running tally of the conversation. And the whole point of this is to bulletproof against redundancies. Otherwise, you'll have an issue with AI sending really similar follow ups to one another. It becomes very obvious that this is an automation, and that will turn off leads. Now, if you guys want the full scoop on how to build a post dialer follow up sequence to text leads, either that left you on voicemail or that actually answered but you didn't make it to that end objective and you just want to make that second touch point, if this video gets 25 likes, I'll make a full video breakdown on how exactly to do this and text leads properly. And then I'll take it a step further and show you how to do a full encompassing loop to recall leads, so that in theory you could have like a 14-day call sequence. Obviously, don't call them every single day. That would be crazy. But let's say you call them today and then you'll call them tomorrow, then call them 5 days from now, then 8 days from now, then 14 days from now. And after every occurrence, you shoot them some sort of text, try to make a touch point. And this is just a really good way to increase conversions. Otherwise, they're going to be at the phone calling hundreds of people, trying to text them right after, trying to follow up with everyone, manage everything. Remember, online marketing is a numbers game, and you can solve your problems with more follow ups and more leads to the door. So, especially if you have lead lists or you're running ads and you have a ton of leads accruing in the background, this is how you make automated touch points. And this is something that a human just can't do at scale. Ultimately, just to quit in a few months because it's such a shitty job, then you have to go out and find a new dialer to do this for you. So, this is a big reason why I preach automation, guys. When you have systems like this set up, it just becomes so easy to scale and implement this into your clients' businesses if you're a marketing agency like me, and help them scale. Anyways, hope you found this video useful. Please leave any comments down below. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I typically reply to comments. Also, if you have anything more specific, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'll be happy to answer any questions there as well. And on that note, I'll see you on the next video.